going on, everybody? What's going on? Another episode of Misunderstood. I'm Za-Quan Peterkin. I hope everybody is having a good beginning of the week. I know it's still early in the week, but you know we gotta grind. We gotta grind. You know. Speaking of grinding, we gotta grind on we gotta grind a little bit on the NBA. A little bit on the NBA. So earlier Tuesday night, Steve Curry said some real interesting things about Steph Curry. Real interesting. And the thing of what he said is, I don't agree with him, but I understood where he's coming from. So Steve Curry said that Steph Curry is the modern day Michael Jordan because of the influence he has on basketball, changing the game and being like a huge face of like athletes of today's athletes. Like when you think of today's athletes, you think of like, LeBron James and stuff like that, but you think of Steph Curry. And he said he has the biggest athletic influential of all athletes today, basically, because that's how Michael Jordan was. So for people to understand what he's saying, Michael Jordan was the face of sports all through the early 90s to retirement, and even when he came back for the Washington Wizards. When you think of athletes, you throw Michael Jordan. And we're not just talking about basketball, but are we just talking about basketball? Because that's not, Steve Kerr didn't say basketball. He said athletes. See, in the 90s, especially the early 90s, when you think of athletes of the early 90s, you think of Jordan, you think of Mike Tyson, you think of go a little bit more in the future of the late 90s, you think of Tiger Woods. I'm thinking about athletes, not just basketball. So there's certain aspects where I understand what Steve Kerr is talking about. So first thing first, Steve Kerr is not saying that Steph Curry is the same or better than Michael Jordan. We all know Michael Jordan's the GOAT. We all know LeBron James is right under the GOAT, and before LeBron James retire, he might even be the GOAT. This still talks. Is LeBron James still number 2? How much more do LeBron James have to do? Because we kept putting Michael Jordan over him as if LeBron James' career is over. It's still going. It's still going. His story is not finished. It's not finished yet. There's still chapters in his book. So we can say that about Steph Curry. It's still going. So a lot of people can make an argument that he's in the top 10 greatest players, NBA players of all time, since he got this last championship in a Finals MVP. We can make that argument. How far are we going though? 7, 8? How far are we going? A lot of people still got Magic over him. A lot of people still got Kareem over him, Wilt over him. I don't got Wilt over him. I got him over Wilt. But a lot of people still got, players like that over him. And they was big, influential players of their time. Now, that doesn't mean that Steph Curry is not more than them, more influential than them. It doesn't mean that. Because you look at Magic Johnson, he probably changed the game of being a real tall point guard. Wilt Chamberlain changed rules of the NBA. Like the 3 in the key was made because of him. He probably got 200 points in the game if they would have they would have, allowed him to stay in the key for more than 3 seconds every game. So, but there is some influences that a lot of athletes had done. But is Steph Curry the modern day Michael Jordan? See, a lot of people when they hear anybody being compared to Michael Jordan, the first thing that they think about is 6 championships, 6 MVPs, undefeated in the NBA Finals. There's no way that this guy is the same Michael Jordan, should even be in the same breath. That's not what Steph was saying. So I understand the assignment. I understand the assignment. I understand what what Steve Kerr is saying about Steph Curry. I understand it. So I'm going to respond on my opinion based on the assignment. The most influential athlete of today, the modern day Michael Jordan. All right. So what did Steph Curry change? The one thing he changed shooting threes at the key. We got 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds shooting half-court shots, practicing half-court shots. You know what I'm saying? We see guys like the way Michael Jordan played. We see guys like Kobe Bryant will come in the game and basically, imitate all of Michael Jordan's moves. I thought the same thing when I saw Trae Young came in the NBA. Like, oh, okay. He apparently he watched a lot of Davidson University college games because he's, in college he was basically Steph. He was shooting 30-footers, a small point guard, with a wicked jump shot. It looked like Steph to me. It looked very, very identical to Steph. So I could see like the influence Steph had done. That's one of them right there. Testing your limits and how far you shoot the basketball. Other influences, being a small point guard. And when I mean small, I don't mean height wise because he's pretty tall. He's 6'3", but he's like 180 pounds, 185 pounds maybe. And it's really hard to win championships being the best player of the team at that size. You can ask Chris Paul. You know what I mean? The only other person I can think of is Isaiah Thomas. Being that small, winning championships, being the best player on the team. And 2 of those championships, he was not the best player on the team. That would be Kevin Durant. That's why it's very important for Steph Curry to win that championship and be the best player in the series, because we're not just talking about is he good. We already know he's good. We already know he's great. How great is he? So for the people who can't understand the criticism of Steph Curry, we're not criticizing Steph Curry because we don't like his game. We're criticizing Steph Curry because you're stepping and you're putting your foot through a doorway of the greats now. Not the very, very goods. The greats. Sooner or later, we're going to be looking at Kevin Durant like, all right, what's up? What's up? Because you're supposed to be higher than Steph on this list. You're supposed to be top 5 greatest player of all time. You're falling behind. You're falling behind greatly. It's very important for Steph to win a championship and have the Finals MVP, so he could really show I am not just a really good point guard, not just one of the best point guards of all time, but at the end of my career, y'all gonna say Steph Curry is the greatest point guard of all time, and even over Magic Johnson. He's trying to get in like top 3 status, because I think he knows he's not going to reach LeBron. He's definitely not going to reach Michael Jordan. Can he reach Magic? Can he reach Bill Russell? Can he reach Wilt Chamberlain? I think he can. And I think he's on the road of doing so. I think he's on the road of reaching, passing Magic Johnson and being the best point guard that ever played the game. I think he can. You know, once you start stepping into that realm, we start looking at you differently. We start saying, okay, so he's one of the greatest of all time. That he needs to do this and he needs to do that. He needs to accomplish this. He needs to accomplish that. Why? Because the greatest of all time that's above him accomplished all those things. That's why he was heavily criticized for not having Finals MVP. I don't believe you need a Finals MVP to show how great you are. I believe you need a Finals MVP if you're talking about greatest point guard or top 5 player of all time when all those players had at least one of those things. One season MVP, one finals MVP, scoring titles. You know what I mean? Something to that separate them to the very, very good. If he was on the same level like Dwayne Wade, we wouldn't care if he got finals MVP or anything. He stepped in the doorway of a Magic Johnson, of LeBron James, and Michael Jordan. That's why he's being criticized. So Steve Kerr felt like, okay, this is his opinion. The modern day Michael Jordan. So like I said, I'm gonna stay with the excitement. He's not the modern day Michael Jordan. If there's a basketball player closer to that, that would be LeBron James. LeBron James is everywhere. LeBron James got his own show on Showtime. LeBron James got his own enterprises, building schools in Ohio and everything. When casual fans think of the NBA, they think of LeBron James. Steph Curry cannot be the most the modern day Michael Jordan, which means he's the most influential athlete of his time, if he's not even the most influential athlete in his own sport. So we're talking about athletes. Okay. So who's the modern day Michael Jordan for soccer right now? Messi? Because he won the World Cup? Or is it still Ronaldo? It could be Messi right now because he got that World Cup. It could be. You know, that could have got him over Ronaldo. You know, for tennis. Well, Serena retired, but Serena Williams will be on that list. You know. And matter of fact, she still is on that list even though she's retired because no one took that throne yet. No one have. Not for women's tennis. For men's tennis, it's gonna be Jokic and Nadal. Federer retired, Jokic and Nadal. The first thing when you think about tennis, you think about those two guys. More particular, Jokic, Novak Djokovic. Let me see. Baseball right now, Aaron Judge. You know, right now, Aaron Judge. You know, football is still Tom Brady, but Patrick Mahomes is right behind him. But right now, it's still Tom Brady. You think of football, you think of Tom Brady. When you think of basketball, you don't first think of Steph Curry. You think of LeBron James. You know, good examples of modern day Michael Jordans will be what Floyd Mayweather Jr. was in boxing. You know, casual fan don't know nothing about the sport, but you know that name. That's not Steph Curry. That's not him. That's not him right now. And to tell you the truth, it might never be him. Because LeBron, he just put himself out there a lot more. You know, people like LeBron have changed the game. We just don't see that much he changed the game because there's not a lot of 6'8"